Summer 1915. Gathered in majestic Sierra Nevada mountains of California are some of the most influential men in America. They have been assembled by wealthy California businessman turned government employee Stephen Mather. For 2 weeks, the group has traveled by horseback and mule from Sequoia National Park across the crest of the Sierra Nevada. The expedition of sorts would eventually be known as the Mather Mountain Party. Now gather around a roaring campfire, looking more like rugged outdoorsmen than refined city folk, enjoying their last meal together. Mather seized the opportunity. Mather began. I want all you men to know our job is not over, it is just beginning. Sequoia is incomplete until the mighty King Canyon is added, until Mount Whitney is under the care of a national park, until the great forests of the Yosemite are completely out of private hands and protected, and that's just the start. We must make a haven for these wilderness places. We must save these places, protect these places, and share them with future generations. And we must have an agency dedicated exclusively to protecting these places. Then, on August 25, 1916, President Woodrow Wilson signed into law the National Park Service Organic Act, creating the National Park Service. Stephen Mather was named the new agency's first director, agreeing to oversee the agency for 1 year with a salary of $0. He would be its director for the next 13 years, and his influence and vision still shape and guide our national parks today. Welcome to History 360, where we take a dive into the people, places, events, and stories that have shaped what's been called America's best idea, our national park. Today we look at Stephen T. Mather, the man who made the national parks whole. Stephen Mather, born on July 4, 1867, in San Francisco, California, to a well-to-do family. Mather graduated from the University of California, Berkeley in 1887, first took a job as a reporter in New York City. It was as an entrepreneur, marketer, and promoter that Mather found his niche. The family business was mining a simple mineral used for household cleaning. Under Mather's charge, he turned that simple mineral into the 20-mule Team Borax brand, which remained a household name well into the 1970s. By 1914, he was wealthy and restless. He was ready for a new challenge. Unfortunately, throughout his life, Mather had suffered from severe depression, what we today likely know as bipolar disorder. This would reappear throughout his life. Years earlier, on a climb up Mount Rainier, he had discovered that time in the great outdoors seemed to calm his nerves and restless energy. The struggle didn't weaken his resolve or legacy, but rather reveals the courage behind it. One day while hiking in Yosemite National Park, Mather saw cattle grazing in places where they were specifically prohibited, land speculators on choice parcels of park property, hiking trails in disrepair, and all this disgusted him. In anger, he dashed off a letter to Franklin Lane, an old UC Berkeley classmate who just happened to be President Woodrow Wilson's Secretary of the Interior. Lane was aware of Mather's determination and standing and sent back a terse reply. Dear Steve, wrote Lane, you don't like the way things are being run, why don't you come up to Washington and run them for yourself? Mather accepted the offer, moved to D.C. and agreed to be Lane's assistant secretary. Mather was given a legal assistant, Horace Albright, a fellow Californian whose calm, meticulous attention to detail was a perfect counterweight to Mather's seemingly non-stop flow of ideas. Mather immediately doubled Albright's salary out of his own pocket. Albright would quietly step in during Mather's mental health episodes, which made it impossible for him to work. Albright would eventually succeed Mather as the NPS second director, and as such add several national parks into the system, including Zion and Grand Teton National Park. Mather then hired Robert Sterling Yard, the gifted editor of the New York Herald, luring Yard with the promise of a $5,000 a year salary and a personal secretary, again, all paid by Mather. Then Mather and his small team set out to create a public interest in the parks and gain support for a single government agency dedicated exclusively to the park's interest. Mather had a lightning-sharp mind, matinee idol looks, and a frenetic energy that was intoxicating and dizzying for all around him, all of which made it nearly impossible for anyone to say no to him. He wined and dined politicians and railroad men, charmed newspaper and magazine publishers to write articles extolling the wonder of national parks, cajoled congressmen to push through legislation that would benefit and advance the use of public land in America. Mather believed more infrastructure meant more tourists, and more tourists meant more money from Congress. He focused on making parks inviting, constructing roads, trails, lodges, and instituting guided experiences. Mather believed if America loved these places, Congress would protect them. Mather also knew he couldn't do it alone. He convinced railroad men that by extending their lines to park boundaries, they would increase their passenger numbers. And so he partnered with the railroads to actively promote the parks through travel brochures and exhibits. Most famously, the See America First campaign, which urged wealthy Americans to forego their usual European vacations, instead taking in the scenic wonders that America and its national parks had to offer. He brought in Frederick Olmsted Jr., son of the renowned landscape architect behind Central Park, Prospect Park, and the U.S. Capitol grounds. Olmsted Jr. helped shape the National Park Service's philosophy and advised Mather on park planning and resource management for years to come. Mather also believed the parks needed something simple. They needed people to care about them. They needed protection, a unified plan, a corps of professional rangers. Mather saw these rangers as a well-trained, dedicated workforce, equipped to handle a variety of tasks, from law enforcement, fire suppression, visitor education, park interpretation, and resource management. His core idea: preserve these places, our national treasures, for future generations and make them accessible. This core idea still guides the National Park Service today. During his 13-year tenure as National Park Service Director, Mather improved park infrastructure, recognizing that improving park access would improve the visitor experience, crucial for the success of the park system. Foresaw the emergence of the American automobile industry, and oversaw and prioritized the construction of many park roads, most notably the Going to Sun Road in Glacier National Park and what's now known as the Mather Memorial Parkway in Mount Rainier National Park. He constructed and improved hiking trails. He had campgrounds and lodges built. Mather helped create and shape the concessionaire model still used today. Mather further expanded the park system, advocating for the inclusion of iconic landscapes such as the Grand Canyon, Mount Rainier, and the creation of several national parks in the eastern United States. As he had done with borax, that simple mineral that became a trusted household name, he would do for the national park. He took a collection of wild and distant places and created a brand. Today, several sites are named for Mather, including Mather Point on the south rim of the Grand Canyon, Mather District in Yosemite, Mather Gorge near Washington, D.C., and the Stephen T. Mather Training Center, which serves as the primary training center for the entire Park Service. Mather didn't just save places, he changed the way America thinks about nature. We're all stewards of Mather's legacy. When we visit a national park and feel grateful it still exists, we're feeling Stephen Mather's vision and determination. There is a plaque in nearly every national park bearing his likeness with the following inscription: he laid the foundation of the National Park Service, defining and establishing the policies under which its areas shall be developed and conserved unimpaired for future generations. There will never come an end to the good he has done. Thanks for watching. If you can please like and subscribe to the channel and let me know what you think in the comments. We'll see you next time on History 360.